Hello, happy Monday. As I put the music a little lower. Oh, wow, that's like still loud. Happy Monday. Um, am I ready? No, I'm not. I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's summer and I've been doing a lot of. Excuse me. I have been dealing with a cold, I think, for the past, I don't know, 5 days. Anyways, yeah, maybe because it's summer and I've been kind of doing some other things, like focusing on my garden, on my vegetable garden. First time doing that. Started going to the movies. Well, I've only been to two technically, and then I saw Mission Impossible over the weekend, and that sucked. I don't know. I found it so like not interesting. It was too long. I appreciate the stunt work. I was actually curious to check out and see how much stunt work did Tom Cruise do because I know he's really into that. But um sorry, I got caught. I have so many of these like garden videos right now. um Anyways, yeah, so I know he's really into stunts, and so I was curious, but I didn't look it up. I will look it up after, but I appreciate that, and I'm glad that the movie exists, and I'm glad that well, I think that's it. I'm glad that the movie exists because it's a passion project of his. Okay, this song, you probably couldn't hear it anyways. Um, but that's kind of as far as I take my appreciation of this movie. I mean, it was a lot of work, a lot of people on it. I mean, because it's so huge and it's like what they call a blockbuster. Like it was probably a lot of money. And like I mean, flawless as far as technical issues and so forth. But the storyline was cool. I felt underwhelmed. It's interesting. The story felt rushed and the movie felt dragged on. That's not a verb. It felt like it was dragging. I just like realized that. Yeah. Huh. Let me make a note here of Tom Cruise stunt Mission Impossible. Is it 8? I don't even know. Anyways, so yeah, I'm not gonna show anything of that because that for sure will get like copyright or can't use this or whatever. But and I also don't have it queued up to anything. But yeah, I kind of really got bored. I started checking my watch, but really my phone clock because I put it in the holder there, and I started like pressing the screen, like how much longer, and around the submarine thing. And I think without that submarine being so long, it would have been better, but that was like a really long time. And then you had another big one with the airplanes, and it's just like a lot. All I could think about was like, oh, this is really interesting how he probably trained for this, and I wonder how they did it. And was it really cold water? Was that acting, or was it somewhere in between? And all that stuff. And then also a shout out to the hyperbaric stuff. Hi, Angel. Welcome. Hi, Maria. Talking about Mission Impossible. Have you seen it? Have you guys seen it? But yeah, shout out to the hyperbaric. My ex, that's where he works. So, I mean, not there, not at that specific type of thing, but the hyperbaric chambers in general. Anyways, but yeah, it was I don't even remember what I was saying, why I started saying I don't know. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, I found it I guess not. Oh, yeah, no, you know what? I did find it boring. I found it a lot more boring than Sinners. Sinners was okay. It was just, I think the thing that turned me off was it felt very much like a male, uh, chip off a male shoulder kind of thing. Um, the latest one, The Final Reckoning, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, that's out now in the theaters. And yeah, they showed like clips at the beginning of all the Mission Impossibles, and I only saw the first one. I think maybe I saw another one, I don't remember, but I remember the first one. It was memorable. Yeah, I can't believe they've done so many. It's kind of like James Bond and Fast and the Furious, and it's kind of in the between because I think it has the quality of a James Bond movie, um but the lack of plot of Final, or not Final Destination, Fast and the Furious. So yeah, it's like in between those two. Yeah, it was like cliche. It was cheesy, not cliche, but cheesy, and maybe because it was kind of like an homage to all the other ones, or something like it. An echo, or it had echoes of the other ones. It was like his destiny, sort of, out of all the Mission Impossibles. They all led to this point, and blah blah blah. And it was like cool for fans of it, I think. Not cool if you've not seen most of it and you don't really, like, you want to feel something when you're watching a movie, because I didn't. I don't think Tom Cruise is a good actor, but I, at least like in this movie, he came across as a really bad actor, where stunts and how nice he is on set, that people say Blake should think about that. Um, what else? Like, he produces, he like puts a lot of time and money and dedication into these movies. I think that saved his career, because I think acting has evolved to a place now that it's requiring a lot more from the actors to be a lot more realistic and on it and emotional, and people, I feel, I know that I want more from my actors than just regular saying your lines or whatever. And so it was interesting because he was, when he was having dialogues and things, I noticed, and I don't know if this is on purpose, I don't know if this was just him doing something nice or humble, I don't know, but I what I noticed was that he was not shown on camera as much. Like, his reactions and his dialogue was secondary to other people's characters, um that were, I feel like, a lot better at acting. Not everyone was a great actor, I think. Well, no, I think, yeah, no, no. Yeah, they were all pretty great. So I think he also like surrounds himself with like the best, and I don't know. So yeah, it was a mixed feeling, but I think Sinners would be much better if you're deciding between the two. I don't know why you would try to decide between the two. Um but yeah, Sinners, I said that it was boring. I think because, I mean, I kind of was bored at the end, but I think it was just the experience that I had with it. You know, the experience can make or break something. Like, listening to a song when you're not ready to listen to that song, and then you don't like it, and then, later, even like a few days later, you listen it in the right context, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, this song is amazing. It's kind of like that with, I think, Sinners, maybe, or I don't know. And I think there probably also, there are things that I can't relate to or don't know. Like, people talk about folklore, I'm like, I don't know what the folklore is. I don't know. And so yeah, I do tend to like, excuse me, movies that speak more about like the psychological side, because I love psychology and I know psychology, and I'm not a psychologist, but I really like love it and have studied, amateurly wise. So hi, Arnaldo. So I like that. And so Mission Impossible was like neither. And then yeah, the cheesy lines. Oh my gosh, what was there was like one cheesy line. or like he did it. He really did it. I think something like this. From this one admiral or whatever. And I was like, oh, that hurts. That line hurts so bad. It scratched my brain. So yeah, when I see movies, and especially because I don't have the money to just like see every movie, any movie, and the like nervous system, like my life is all set, and all I have to do is enjoy my free time when I have free time. It's like my free time and work time are very interchangeable, they're very enmeshed, and kind of unknown future wise. And so it's not, when I was younger, I think that makes a difference too. Where it's like, if it was like not the best movie, you still liked it because I still liked it because, um, there would be another one, or I don't know, you just appreciate it. But when you're like, this movie has to be like really good because it's one, in one per month or whatever. This one I saw with my family, so it wasn't in that. But yeah, I have high expectations, and also for this channel for you guys. I mean, I think maybe my expectations are a little too high, and not matched with many people's impressions. So it's not that I'm coming here to talk about what you guys would think about it or other people would think about it, but I guess I'm a little bit more critical, or I'm paying attention more to how I'm feeling when I'm watching these movies. Anything that stands out, good or bad, etc., etc., so I can like talk about it differently than it was good or it wasn't good. you know so yeah, but yeah, to kind of like, that's pretty much all that I remember is the submarine and the airplane, and just like little tidbits in between, and the beginning where it just like flashed all the different ones. Oh, what I did like, and I took a mental note if I ever make it on the big screen, he had this little speech, which was surprising to me that he didn't memorize it. He was reading it because he's an actor, so he could easily memorize that. But although sometimes it's harder to memorize a speech than acting, because when you're acting, your lines play off of what's happening, from other people, what they're saying or they're doing, or what's happening in the outside world or scene or whatever. So it's a little different than when you're like doing a speech. It's not as emotionally like connected or whatever. So, and you probably want really precise words, etc., to be concise and to, put the message forward. But yeah, he had this little speech, this like, I don't know, a few seconds or so, half a minute or so speech at the beginning, thanking people for coming to see the movie. And I was like, oh my gosh, people need to, I don't know, they need to do that more often, but a little bit more often, like some people should. I don't know. Um, the Brutalist, which I didn't like, but I need to rewatch with subtitles and stuff. Um, had the intermission, so I'm happy when I see something that's like different. I like that. So that's the way it should be. Sorry, what was I saying when you were saying that, Arnaldo? Sorry. I was watching Ashley, Brianna, Eve, and I think it might be the ADHD part. I've been trying not to look at the chat all the time. I might glance on it, like seeing like the movement, but I don't read it, because if I read it, then hi P, then I like get distracted, and she was saying the same thing. So I was like, oh yeah, yeah. I've been doing that for like the last weeks, and it's working. But then it's like that where you miss like the moments when you go to the movies. Oh yeah, yeah, where you're just like relaxed and just having fun, and not, putting all your eggs in this one movie basket. um, Thank you, P. So as far as the submarine, I just felt like it was dragging too long, and also I think it was the anxiety. I think because I just wanted the anxiety to end, that made it even longer, because my state of anxiety is pretty high usually. Like, I'm walking around, I can't sleep well, like I sleep late, I can't sleep because of anxiety. Like, I have high anxiety right now, so my nervous system is already on like super high anxiety alert. And so when not super but like high, and when you're throwing this scene with the music, the composition, building the tension, the visuals, the water, and whatever, and stuff. I won't spoil it. I guess you probably have seen it. It's probably like the scene itself kind of shows because he talks about the stunts and stuff. But yeah, so that I think made it worse. The airplane stunt wasn't as anxiety causing, but the submarine for sure, and that I think dragged it on longer. Charge your phone, yeah, Maria, no worries. Um, yeah, P. I was thinking about that with these lives honestly because I've been such like I feel I was literally I always like do this. I say where I was and what I was doing for I mean it matters not at all for the story. But I was loading my washer and dryer or like a changing in just I don't know, half an hour ago or an hour ago, and I was thinking like like I've been I think burning out. And because and before everyone came in, I was saying um I think with the summer I've been doing a lot more stuff, and also like finding myself again, and all this is like taking me outside a lot and off my phone. And so preparing for these YouTubes, because if I would have like a big audience, and sorry, still recovering from a cold, and it could be more like casual and more like podcasty, and maybe I mean that's maybe something that you guys might like. I think in my brain I always think like be efficient, Arena, be more efficient in how you present things, and be prepared and have like a bunch of stories and be up to date and all this stuff. And like I would, I think, like to kind of eventually get to the point where it's more like casual, more like podcast style, I think. Where it's still like prepared and having topics and things, but it's more like this where I'm like talking a little bit like slower, or like I don't know, not as like a newscaster vibe that I have inside when I like prepare for these. But also, yeah, it's being summer. Somehow a lot is happening. So, yeah, I might have to do that to some extent too. Excuse me, P. Um, my nervous system is more like from like career and relationship. And I'm like avoiding doing breathing work, and I know it. I know what to do. I have things just like 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes of breathing at least once a day can make wonders happen. I don't do it. I'm sorry, like if you hear all my like acid reflux. Um and yeah, so I need to do that. That's a good reminder too. I mean you didn't say that necessarily, P, but it still reminded me. Sometimes when like someone else tells you or you read the same thing almost back, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that other part of it. We all need some time away. It's been crazy lately. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I I put on my little agenda today. The thumbnail looks ridiculous. It's like Israel and Iran, and Blake Lively gets denied by the judge. Well, I mean, that's not what it says, but gets denied by the judge with her motion to compel Wayfair to get the information from Taylor Swift, I think. I watched Lawrence Breaking Live or whatever earlier. Yeah, that one. Sorry, and then the other one, the one that talked about that. I don't know if it's available on Court Listener for me yet because it wasn't. So withdrawing 269 motion to quash. Was that like what she was reading? Probably. What's 269? Hello, ADHD. Already forgot what I was talking about. I'm on a new path. Motion to quash subpoena issued to Sarah Nathan by the Sloan parties. Oh, interesting. Huh. Sorry, let me share my screen. I'll get back to what I was saying about. I'll close the Mission Impossible thing. This is document 128, but 269 there. I wonder if it's this. I didn't even see this happening. Please take notice that upon the accompanying memorandum of law, I'm gonna have a hard time. I have like post nasal drip that's like finally going away from my ears and sinuses and into that. Just getting stuck in my throat. The accompanying declaration of Stephen Mintz. Upon all prior pleadings and proceedings in this action, non-party Sarah Nathan, which I'm guessing is Melissa Nathan's sister that works at Daily Mail or something, right? There's so many filings, and someone on Lauren's live earlier said, "I swear the docket looks like a toddler has a temper tantrum," and I'm like, "Yeah, doesn't it?" It looks like just like what is happening. But yeah, I can't log into it. Let's see what number this is. Oh yeah, this one. This one like it has like an error. You can't really see it. You can see it here. So that I was like, what the heck? I was going to read this. So let me read this right now. Oh, hold on. Sorry, my heart is like doing little tumbles and like going crazy. It's like, oh, okay. It just kind of like messes with my throat. Wayfair family, I'm so sorry for the delayed response. This is Judd Wallace. Just wrapped a long flight, but my team has been in full throttle mode on our Wayfair focus. This is August 9th, 2024. In the meantime, you know what I wish? I wish people, this is one thing I first learned. This is a tangent. Very quick tangent. What I learned, my stepfather was into computers a lot. And so I learned that for a computer, makes perfect sense. To sort things, you put the year first, like macro to micro, the year first, the month, and then the day. I wish that was a standard across everything and all the emails and everything. Sometimes I save documents and the people that name them are like this, and I'm like, that's so frustrating. If you're from a different country, month and day are reversed. And B is it just is logical. It's so simple. Macro to micro, big to small. Anyways, and then this is not even big to small. This is like medium, small, big. Okay. Sorry for that tangent. In the meantime, we will work. We will work in lockstep with TAG, but engaged separately. Attached is a W-9 and happy to confirm wiring details. Looking forward to working some magic with the Wayfair team et al. And everyone. See, this is what Blake could have easily done. It could have been like so much redacted, but like she didn't even provide one single text message or anything. Anyways, from her side. And this was in response to Mezian, I don't know. Nice to meet you, Judd. No offense to this person. Really cool name. Just sorry. I just don't know. In addition to Brian's email confirming that this falls under our agreement with the agency group TAG, and that TAG is subcontracting street relations, please advise ASAP. Sorry, I should have started at the bottom. All right. Hi, Jamie. Please meet Judd, who will be having this team. Can you see that? Also, kind of. All right. Please meet Jed, who will be having his team assist on all social activity based off our own conversations, as well as their digital plan you are in receipt of. He is aware we are going to for their quote two option for $30,000 per month for 3 months. Is that PM? Is that 30,000? That's like that was my salary for most of my life, my adult life when I was having a salary. Not or like around that, a little bit less, a little bit more. And that's per month? And that was like per my year? Oh gosh. Jed and team has worked on some of the most something. Okay. To quickly follow up, and this is Katie at Tag, that's Melissa. To quickly follow up, as I know we want to work as fast as possible, I've attached an invoice from Street Relations as discussed. And to echo Melissa, Jed and his team are truly the best of the best, so happy we could make this connection. I feel bad for Jed though. No matter what this person, this guy did or didn't do or whatever, he did not deserve ending. He ended up in the hospital over this, right? Over like the lawsuit and everything, the stress. He lost clients, and gosh, I feel like, allegations in lawsuits, like filings and lawsuits, maybe should be kept private for like a little bit. They maybe should not be public that fast, because like until both parties filed or responded, has had a chance to respond and have something on the docket, so you can have like both sides at the same time. Because yeah, someone make that law, someone create that law. I think that's a good one. um okay, so then Jed is, thank you for the connecting point, Katie, Jamie, an absolute pleasure. Why is this question mark? Jamie, an absolute pleasure. While the circumstances are the circumstances, this is our wheelhouse and have it prioritized across all platform specific specialists working for me. This is so vague. Hi, Jed. Wonderful to meet you. This is Jamie. I apologize for the delay. The premiere and screening we had today has been just crazy time. And don't we know how crazy it was? That's so sad. We're happy to have you on board. As for the invoice, I'm adding my team to get into this and have you taken care of ASAP. So he was added after the premiere, technically. He was added after the premiere. This is like pretty crucial information considering that they were in the basement. I would say, because the whole, as far as I know and what I understand, Blake is blaming Judd for creating this untraceable smear campaign that she alleges happened. And so if they weren't even working with Judd until after the premiere, isn't that moot? I would say it's moot. Maybe not, I guess, but that's what she kept saying, I thought. And so, yeah. And after that whole premiere situation, like, I mean, I would have given up probably, but like, yeah, they probably felt like, code red, code red. We are happy to have you on board. As for the invoice, I'm adding my team to get into this and have you taken care of ASAP. Please meet Brian, Iman, and Mitz. I'm sorry if I screw up your names. Why also are you not capitalizing that, Jamie? Our CFO, our head of legal, and our VP of operations, respectfully. Please rest assured we will get you squared up. Team Wayfair, please prioritize this. Thank you all, Jamie. Nice to meet you, Jed. This is Iman. In addition to Brian's email, okay, now we're back to where I was left off. Confirming that this falls under our agreement with the tag agency, and that tag is subcontracting street relations. Please advise ASAP. And then he said, yeah, but engaging separately. And then this is under seal. So, excuse me, that happened today. That's a part of that. That's so interesting. Hmm. And then this is, and then some other things that I don't have access to, but Lauren has, and she will be on at 10:30, which I don't think I'll be done by 10:30, but I'm pretty confident that I'll be done really early tonight, guys. Hashtag Monday. Hashtag we need to be fresh and keep going with the week. It just started. So this is more about tag. Blah, blah. Supplementary interrogatory responses render any portion of plaintiff's pending motion to compel moot. The short answer is no. All right, Ezra Hudson. Oh my gosh, I for the longest time I thought Ezra was a guy. Um, like those names confuse me so much. American names or whatever that is. Like, yeah, they confuse me. But yeah, American names because like people here from because they're from all sorts of different countries and cultures. So what is like male or female is different, and so my brain is like just mush, and I'm like, I don't know. You're going to have to tell me what you are. Um, but yeah, so uh, so unopposed letter motion to keep Lively's response sealed, or one. Oh, like that was the one that we saw. Okay. Anyway, so and that's kind of what I have here. It's these things. So yeah, as far as my thumbnail, that's what how I started. And then we went down an ADHD rabbit hole. So Blake Lively is pushing this content creator thing. Wayfair is saying you have to be more specific. Curious what the judge will say, or if he said something. Again, I don't have information on that. I don't have access to that. Um, and then I don't even remember because I just am doing this. This is why, like, I say, like, oh, no structure. And then I'm like, crap, I needed structure. What am I doing? What am I talking about? Um, oh, yeah. Judge denies Blake's. I couldn't find that. I don't know why I couldn't find that. It's just so many things, and it goes. And now I'm back in the circle of, and then that person said this, and blah blah blah. So let me like open more. A lot of ceilings. I think this one's it. I guess I wasn't looking very a lot. Maybe it's not, but this is another motion, or this is a denied motion. So Blake Lively moves to compel Wayfair Studios, and it ends with us, Movie LLC, to produce materials responsive to Lively's fourth set of requests for production, docket 220 and 239. The Wayfair entities have opposed the motion. The motion is denied. On or about December 24, 2025, Wayfair retained Rains Feldman Literal LLP to conduct an internal investigation into Lively's allegations. The investigation seeks to develop factual findings and legal analysis for Wayfair's use in evaluating potential liability and formulating legal strategy. Lively seeks all documents and communications concerning the investigation, all notes, recordings, and interview memoranda. This is just like absurd to me that someone on the opposing side is like, show me what you have. Like, girl, you should know what they have. You should know what is out there about you, like from you, what you like filed or didn't file and all that stuff. Anyways, documents identifying each person contacted or interviewed, and all communications between the investigators and any person concerning the investigation. So broad. so broad. I just feel like, yeah, I get that this is probably very common, but at the same time, it just feels annoying, annoyingly audacious. Anyways, so this was motion was denied. Um, Lively argues that Wayfair waived any applicable privilege by placing the adequacy of the investigation at issue via its 13th affirmative defense, which states that Wayfair has appropriately, completely, and fully performed any obligations arising out of the matters alleged in Blake Lively's complaint. However, Wayfair has stated that the 13th affirmative defense has nothing to do with the investigation now underway. Um, I don't know. So, Wayfair will be precluded from relying on the current investigation in support of the relevant affirmative defense. I think I know, but I need to make sure. So, that's an interesting ruling. Am I not understanding this right? That, and I should have the answers. I'm sorry, but Wayfair cannot use this for their case, their defense case, but they don't have to hand things over to Blake Lively, and but the investigation can keep going. So I'm so confused. I'm so confused about this. But that's not the one, is it? I don't think that's the one. And I know it exists because Lauren read it, but I just don't know which one it is. Or like, because there's so many that I don't have access to. Excuse me. Please go over to Lauren's channel after this, tomorrow, through the next few days, etc., and give her some love and appreciation if you're not already doing that, because she's been having a very hard time with haters. I mean, just like ridiculous messages of just hate. Just don't do that, people. Just think of someone else. They have a heart, they have a life that is precious, that should have the same respect as yours. I mean, I say that, but some people don't feel respected, and they're like, well, if I'm not respected, I won't respect others too. So whatever. But um where is that? The internet, the commercials are crazy. I feel so sick again. So fun.
From a third-party investigation into her sexual harassment claims. Blake Lively wanted Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties to give her information related to an ongoing investigation, information they were actually not privy to because they don't get any of that information while the investigation is ongoing. Blake herself had refused to participate in that investigation, or she also had the opportunity to give them names of specific witnesses she thought they should interview, and she chose not to do that. The judge has now denied Blake Lively's motion to compel this information and has also decided to preclude Wayfarer from using any of this in their defense. Let's take a look at the order. On or about December 24th, Wayfarer retained.
So it is that same one. Um. Anyways, but yeah. Um. All right. Well, moving forward, moving on. Let me get my mouse back. So that's that. I don't know why I'm so weird. Okay. Let me like catch up with my notes. So, judge denies Blake, but also doesn't let them. I'm curious what she'll maybe they'll talk about this, her and Omar tonight. Um, I also have Omar on here. Before I get to that, she had an update on Blake Lively wanting the communication between Wayfair and content creators and no decision has been made yet. And then I said, I wish. It was literally my prep, my emotional prep last week. Um, but I always prep like after the lawsuit is done, that like I get in touch with like Wayfair or something, and so Meisner does these like daydreams, and then you daydream to reach a certain emotion. So I use this for happy because it really made me happy. The first time was like in April, I think, that I discovered how happy it would make me to communicate, not communicate with these people, but like work with Wayfair or like shadow or like do anything. And but always like at the end. But yeah, was like, I wish, but no, there's nothing. um Still don't understand the content creator communication stuff, or still don't understand the motion denied but also precluded kind of thing. um what's confidential? Oh yeah, the thing. Yeah. um you're probably talking about like the preclusion and all that stuff. Yeah. I feel like the lawyers, Omar asked two lawyers, not actually Golden, whoever else is out there, they need to pick that up. But that's my understanding, that they can't use that information, but he's not stopping, because that wasn't a thing of stopping the investigation. Um, so he's not saying anything like that, but he is like denying Blake's motion to have this information. Yeah, it's I don't think, like, I think they can refile it. Where is it? Yeah, I think they can refile it, but they don't get like refile the, hey, we need this, we want this information. But I think this was, he didn't say. um I think, yeah, I think it was just denied because it's, as it says here, interview notes and memoranda produced in the courts of similar internal investigations have long been considered classic attorney work products. So they fall under the communications with counsel for the purpose of obtaining legal assistance, or documents prepared by counsel in anticipation of litigation are protected, like attorney client communications are. So I think that's what the judge is saying, is like, you can't have this, all these notes are their notes, and that's like under attorney client privilege type of stuff. um and but they can maybe come back and say like specific information, or that's not perhaps under these parameters. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. But yeah, so it's not, I made a mistake, and maybe I was, I don't know, a little too zealous or whatever. But it wasn't to do with Taylor necessarily. Um Unless it like falls under this. But it was just like their communication, their notes, recordings, their interviews with other people, with witnesses, with whoever is out there, and documents identifying the people that are contacted and interviewed, and all the stuff. That's what the judge is denying, for Blake to have all that information. Um, yeah. There was video. Is it here? No, I didn't put it up here. There was a video that um kind of connected Judge Lyman with T-Mobile stocks, and then because T-Mobile acquired Mint Mobile, therefore he has stocks in Mint Mobile, and he therefore has interest in Ryan being okay, I don't know. I feel like that's particularly a stretch. Doesn't mean that it's not true. We'll find out more. We will find out anything by in an excuse me in another year or a little less than a year. We'll find out a lot about these people. All these people, everything that is available to the public will be found out. Um, but at this point, like T-Mobile is a big company, and I don't know. I just hate stocks in general. I just hate that whole concept in general. Um, but yeah, I feel like it's kind of a why would the judge? Excuse me. Why would the judge not be allowed to have stocks? Yeah, that's a personal thing. But indeed, it is kind of it can be a conflict of interest. And some either one of you said this or in that interview that he was found to like have made a decision in favor of a bank that he held stocks or bonds or whatever with. We'll see. We'll see. But again, so far I still don't see anything that's glaring at me as far as connections that and I think it's more so honestly in how he decides things that we will see most of that because people can have connections. It doesn't mean that they're influenced by those connections, and a judge is supposed to be impartial, and that's a hard thing to learn and to do. But he has to have that, like being a judge. Eventually, you will have things that are not conflict of interest per se, but you will know people who know those people or something. So I think that we will see how he keeps like making decisions on these things. Um, but to move on to the next point that I had, Omar had Rachel Juarez on, and why did I split those up? And they were talking about Judge Lyman's dismissal of most of Justin Baldoni Wayfair's lawsuit, counter lawsuit, and how they both feel like it was interesting and it felt premature and it was an interesting choice that they don't really understand. Um, and so um, I won't play that per se because it's a whole. Has anyone seen Hamilton? That's playing right now on the commercials. I've not seen Hamilton. Wanted to, but no, didn't see a lot through the last few years. So I'll include the link below to this one, and I'll share it now in the chat. Um, because I can't share it to this chat. Where are you? Okay. Because yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. And yeah, that's why I was like with prejudice that doesn't make sense. So it was hard for me to understand where people saw that, and then I think here one of them, I forget who, talked about like the phrasing was different. It wasn't with prejudice, but the way the phrasing was different, but it meant the same thing. And um that was the because like okay, dismissing it or whatever, sure, but like you can amend it, you can change it, like yeah. So again, we'll see how things happen. We'll see how things like keep going. Um but yeah, this is an interesting analysis with the two of them. And so I'm like this is like a boom boom boom. Here's what I have, which most people have already anyways, but I don't know. And then Kirsty Flaw, I think, yes, made a video talking about my husband's secret, something like that. The husband's secret, I don't know. I, I initially said husband's tail, like the tail of the husband. I don't know. But yeah, so uh 2 weeks after the premiere, and I'll pull that up here. 2 weeks after the premiere, the writer of that movie, or the book that the movie is based on, Leanne Moriarty. is the writer, said that right here. Blake Lively's appearance in the upcoming adaptation of a best-selling Australian novel is uncertain. Sorry. Um. Oh my gosh! Look at all of these. Like, if I put my mouse, there is an ad going to pop up. Like, this is too much. Too much. Ew. Anyways, um, Blake Lively's appearance in the upcoming adaptation of a best-selling Australian novel is uncertain. The Gossip Girl star, 37, had been attached to the proposed film based on Australian author Leanne Moriarty's thriller The Husband's Secret since 2017. That's a long time. However, novelist Leanne, 57, why do we need to know their age? Revealed on the Kyle and Jackie O show on Thursday that she was no longer sure if Blake would be appearing in the production. This was on August 30th, about 2 weeks after the premiere of It Ends With Us. Hold on. No sneeze, but a yawn. Blake Lively was attached to it, but I don't know if she's now detached. That is such a weird thing to say. That is such a weird thing to say. I think. How are ads playing but not the videos? Okay, this is not even related. Oh my gosh. All right, anyways. And then this article, this was on August 30th last year. This article goes on to that famous, this is something that we should not forget this. This was one of the most vile things of this whole promotional campaign that Blake or anyone did or could have done. When asked how she would respond to and how Blake would respond to an affected viewer approaching her with their story, the actress was sprawled on a couch with her head leaning on her bent arm and replied sarcastically, maybe asking for like my address or my phone number or like location share. I could just like location share you and then we could. And then she laughed. Blake Lively is known for playing leading ladies in romantic dramas and has also come under fire for lightheartedly telling women to wear their florals to the cinemas for the occasion. I don't think the wear your florals, I think, yeah, it was in poor taste, but again, I think this kind of stuff was much the alcohol and this. Oh my gosh. I remember sending my ex this like clip and I think he like even was like shocked when I told him and when he saw it like this was just horrendous. There's like, having a sense of humor, even a dark sense of humor, cool. But intelligence, I think, makes you know when to use that and when it's time to not use that. Because there are certain topics, certain circumstances where you need to respect and not disrespect. And it would be disrespectful to be humorous in certain moments. And other moments it's not, even with dark humor, and you can make fun of people like nice bull, whatever. It's not great, it's not fun, it's not cool, it's kind of demeaning and so forth. But I do get the right to be creative and to express yourself and all that stuff. um and I feel like even with what this case is about and so forth, and I don't know. I guess I don't know. It's like a fine line as far as Justin and being mocked as nice pool. But for this, I think it's something that no one should see on a gray scale. This is really black and white that you should not answer like this to such a question. When viewers that have been affected by DV are moved by this movie, etc., how can how can they approach her? And she just makes a terrible, she makes fun of them. And people talk about the alcohol, but I think this is like right up there, like neck and neck with that. This might even be worse because the alcohol is like, it's bad. I'm not excusing it for a second, but people celebrities promote stuff all the time and whatever. But this was like you knew like this was a serious question. I don't know. I'm kind of getting hung up on this, but yeah, that was just bad. Um so yeah. Um and then the only other Blake Lively thing I have, I'm working in reverse tonight. I went straight to the Blake Lively, and then we're going to do news and like whatever else I have. Appetizers, which I guess turned into dessert right now, or aperitif, which is like, well, I guess it is still before. Anyways, um, the other news story is Taylor Swift and how she visited a children's hospital. Let's see what the news says right now. And I'm sorry about my like congestion and everything. It was a fun weekend celebrating my friend's birthday, and I had like every time that I had a beer, and I had like a beer, and then another time I had something else. Anyways, I'll talk about it later, in a second. But let's see. It's and you know what might make these people old is the makeup because they have to wear thick makeup a little bit more. Well, I guess on stage maybe too, but like I think more in like actors have to wear like used to have to at least wear very thick makeup because I was looking, to make my little thing, my thumbnail, and I think this one. I was looking at her face, and like she does not look 35. She looks like 40 almost in this. um like all the like wrinkles and stuff, and I think it's because they have like such thick makeup and stuff, and ruining their skin, I'm thinking. And then they're both blonde, so maybe more fair skinned. Where was it? Where was I? Where did I go? Oh, I was here. It's just there. So shoot, there was another one. It was a cuter one before. Anyways, uh this is the Taylor Swift SEO right now. Also, Travis, Selena, Sabrina, Blake. She's MySpace, how you had like your top 5 friends or whatever. Yeah, she's on her way out. Um well, don't do Facebook. He felt helpless when Taylor Swift something. Anyways, then they went to this hospital after the Stanley Cup final. They went to visit kids in the hospital. They went and I guess Florida Yacht Club, Panthers game, hospital. Like I like how they're just like let's just put it in the title like check check check, Tennessee wedding, hospital visit, Panthers game, Florida Yacht Club. Are Panthers really the hockey team? Is that's weird. He's currently renting a multi-million dollar mansion for the spring and summer. How nice. The mega pop star does not live in Florida but has been seen visiting her boyfriend and seems to hold a special place in her heart for the state. After, yeah, after that was like her first Eras Tour concert, I think, and she has the song for it. Um why is this so like about Florida over here? Does Taylor Swift live in Florida? What is like with Florida? Florida this? Did they get married? Um Not engaged, not married according to this. I was looking for okay, well, you failed. you failed us. The Palm Beach. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. The Palm Beach post. I want to see the wedding and yacht club. I thought because Ashley, Brianna, Eve talked about the wedding, and I thought it was I don't know a while ago wedding. I don't know which one of these will have it. Probably none. Anyway, so yeah, so she visited, and actually, Brianna was saying that this was because the SEO was all about Blake, and she does not want to be associated with this lawsuit, Taylor. And so um, she was saying that she made this other thing happen. She started going to the hospitals and things. Is this it? No, this is old. Is this it? Oh my gosh, she looks so different. I keep watching Taylor Swift photos though and think it must be so cool to be that tall. Like really awkward and really cool at the same time. I don't know. And it like easier to be more confident and regal and like kind because you're like towering over everyone. And so like I feel like you bear that weight more than if you're like small. You're like always hurried and you're like maybe trying to get noticed and all that stuff. I don't know if I'm making any sense. But yeah, this is a cute photo. I think they're cute. I think they'll like last. It just makes sense. They're both from the same area, which means I probably will have a very difficult time because I don't belong anywhere. But yeah, they're from like a similar area. They're like, American, blah, 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 whatever. Um, but yeah, so yeah. And my take on it, as my thumbnail was saying, is that she used this hospital visit. She's using all these things to distance herself more from the freaking lawsuit that she doesn't want to be part of. Because watching yesterday and this morning, I was just like congested and just my ears would pop or would not pop. And those are better problems to have than like all of this, like now breaking up and becoming loose. Um, and not going anywhere. But yeah, she's trying to distance herself from this with these other stories because she usually doesn't have like fan interactions posted online. Although with Travis, she's been a lot more public and a lot more like, watch me and I don't care if you see me. And I think, I mean, I'll say that. I echo that. Like my next relationship, like I will definitely want to like exist in social media or in the public or whatever. Because if you go have this like really private um it was so interesting because it's kind of like paralleling Taylor, my relationship. Like I really wanted to keep it kind of safe and away from the public in a way so it wouldn't break, so it was safe and nurtured and taken care of and whatever. And she talked a lot about that in her songs and very few interviews and stuff. And so yeah, and then that didn't work for either of us. So yeah, I when I saw her on the Super Bowl and whatever last year, not this year. I remember thinking about that, like, yeah, like I wanna breathe again. I wanna be in the light again, and not feel afraid to like mess up my relationship by that, and just have fun and support my person and all that. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, that's kind of it on that note. And those notes, the Blake Lively notes. Everything she's done so far is really bad. Blake Lively, you mean? Because, yeah. um, Blake. Oh, whoops! I almost like just yanked the tea out of the cup. I there's nothing to say about her, about Blake. It's just like, yeah, it is that she's in a battle, she's losing, and she, in theory, easily will lose. But again, because of technicalities, and that includes like her gender and the specific allegations and things like that, she has higher chances to win. And because of her power network. Um, but like the shame, and some people just don't have shame, or they don't seem to have any shame. She doesn't seem like that. I mean, she seems like that. She doesn't seem like she has shame. But I would have so much shame to have the audacity to just say, sorry, to say either lies or deceiving truths, or whatever, or like speculations, and just go with them as if they are true, but you're just like suspecting something. um yeah, I don't know, to get to the point, power wise or narcissism wise or whatever wise, where you see people as stepping stones, or as not even people, just people that you can easily just discard and just step over and use, and you don't feel any kind of bad way about doing that to people. It's something else, I feel like. I remember telling my vocal teacher, the first one I ever had, besides the one in college for like a semester. And I graduated, and my dream was to become a musical artist. And I was like, this is, like with my little tiny money, per hour salary, whatever, not salary, but per hour, whatever. And my part-time accounting job. Ugh, so stupid. Um, I'll go do something for myself and go finally, let's see, what she'll say. And I remember her saying, um, that I was like locked up psychologically. Like my voice was locked up psychologically. And because I was like insecure or whatever. And I remember doing that first session, we were just talking. And at the end of the session, about it, and about my history, and about how my parents would like basically remind me all the time. Like they were really nice about it. Like they withstood the bad singing, because I wasn't good at singing. I was not tone deaf, but I definitely was not hitting the right notes 99% of the time. Um and but so they were like willing to help to hear me sing and put up with that, but they would also let me know like to not have aspirations to become a singer, because I can't sing. Um and that this one like uh, both my like acting, or not acting, but like theater professor or whatever in high school, and this teacher, choir teacher in like fourth grade, said that I shouldn't be let to sing, to like have that dream, because I don't have a good voice. I will never have a good voice, so just give up. And people with amazing voices don't even make it, so just give up now. Why even try? Because you're not even as good as them, kind of thing. That was my high school, and then I don't know what the fourth grade person told my mom, but similar. And so all of this is like packed. Like, think about like all of that stuff is packed in us. All the things that people have said casually, that maybe we don't even remember because we were children and we just like kind of like absorbed it, put it into our thoughts. Okay, register, keep going, alter path or whatever. Um, and yeah, it's there and it affects everything. It can affect so much because when I finished the voice lesson, and I'll tie it back together, hopefully. When I finished that voice lesson, and at the end, she's like, "Okay, let's do the scales again, or let's do some one of these exercises that she initially wanted to do to start with." After we talked, and she had said also, like, yeah, like it's mental probably for me, and it's like psychological block or whatever, and I was like, well, yeah, I just don't want to be not selfish, but like delusional. I was afraid. I'm still afraid. Wow, it's making me kind of tear up. So, yeah, it's still a very big fear of mine to be delusional. Remember American Idol? When my family and I were watching that, and it was like such an awesome show for me because I wanted to do that. And my family would always say to those people that didn't have a good voice, that like, look at them, like, didn't their family, their friends care enough about them to tell them to not do this, to not embarrass themselves on live TV and stuff. And so that was, I think, even more than the teacher stuff or whatever, like that was imprinted so deeply. And I was telling this teacher this, and she's like, based on what the conversation we're having and what I see, like, trust me, you don't have, it's very unlikely you'll get to that point. Um, and I think what she was also trying to say is that kind of narcissism is really kind of the delusional point that I was afraid of. It's not like the delusion, the innocent delusion, but the delusion of grandeur, like, I'm the best singer, I'm the best whatever, and you're not even working on it. Um, So yeah, so she's like, be confident. And I'm like, no, I can't, because like I need to be humble. And she's like, it's not contradicting to each other. Anyways, so just like talking, it was a half an hour lesson. So we didn't talk much more than that. I mean, yes, but not. And she went at the piano and started, and I started singing. And I was like, whoa, it wasn't like perfect. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm like I don't even know who's like a great singer right now. Do we have great singers right now? Christina Aguilera. Is anyone good at singing right now, or is it just like about like the artistry? I can't think of anything because Taylor's not that amazing at singing. Who else is out there? I don't even know. Anyways, but yeah, I wasn't like this big, Christina Aguilera, Mariah Carey, whatever, like, whoa. But it was like not exactly night and day, but close. And I was like, whoa, like just from talking. We didn't do anything vocally, just from freaking talking, like a therapy session almost. And I got in my car and I started singing to my songs to my radio. I wouldn't say Rihanna has a great song. My ex actually compared my voice to Rihanna's. And I was like, is that a compliment or an insult? And I think that's just me. But like her voice is probably like, I think what he was saying, I don't know. I'll have to ask him probably because I'm like, my interpretation ultimately is that it's not good or bad. It was just like it has that more ugly tone to it. Like it doesn't sound conventionally pretty, I guess. Um, Although, what's her name? Katy Perry is like worse. Katy Perry sounds a lot of the time tone deaf. I don't know why. To me, like Firework, especially when she performs it, it sounds like she's missing that freaking note. Like she falls flat on that note, like the high note. I don't know. So I would say like Rihanna, or like Rihanna has a good voice, but like Katy Perry, I don't like her voice. I don't think that I don't think she can sing, but she can. I guess everyone else tells me she can. I must not be hearing the same thing. I don't know. And oh, you love Rihanna's voice, yeah. Yeah, I think, but again, it's like that tone quality. It's not that like classical pretty voice. Like, I mean, even Christina Aguilera isn't. You know, she has that like just kind of raspy sort of voice. But like Christina, early Christina, that did like My Reflection or whatever. I don't know. But yeah. So, but I wasn't even that. But yeah, I went back into the car and I put on the whatever song I was like singing to in the car, and I just like my throat had opened up, and I was like producing sound in a way that I had never in my life, even as a little child, ever produced. And it just like blew my mind. And I know this is like such a such a like random story and unrelated to Blake Lively kind of, but it was just like, I don't know, inspiration for anyone who needs that inspiration. I kind of need that inspiration, but I haven't touched even songwriting in a long time. I met someone on Saturday that I talked randomly, that I talked about songwriting. He's a songwriter, like hip hop, or not hip hop, yeah, hip hop. What's the other one? I don't know. Anyways, R&B. And and yeah, and we're talking about like, I don't know. Like I'm more like songwriter, but I haven't done it in a long time, and he's more like a composer, like the music behind the lyrics, and I do more lyrics. Anyways, um but yeah, so yeah, I don't know, just inspiration for anyone to take that. There was a point and I lost the point that I was trying to make with that. Was it about delusions of grandeur? Maybe. That, you know, like if you have it, you either have it or you don't, almost. I don't know. I can't imagine though. Like, I just, I think I'm broken in the sense that I don't think I'll ever be able to be confident enough. Like, I think just like my wiring is not that way. And it's not great, but it's just not that way. Like I'll fake it till I make it. I'll have some confidence, and I do have some confidence in some ways, but like to the extent that Blake Lively seems to have, I don't. I can't even imagine how that is, and I just would feel so bad to have that much confidence, or where it kind of borders delusion. Lauren was talking about uh she was having a conference kind of thing about what's her name with Clayton, and how this one psychologist said that she was delusional, and Lauren's like, it's not delusion when you're like, you're not pregnant and you're like forging sonograms and doctors and all this stuff. So yeah, I think Blake doesn't, she might actually be more on the delusional scale, because I think she really believes in something that is not, I don't know. But yeah, kind of a soft change of topic. Sabrina Carpenter, she released, it's Keisha had a video, and talking about this, and we'll get to like the heavy Iran and Israel topic. Sorry. And I hate that they don't have like thumbnails when you're like playing the video. Anyways, so I love It's Keisha. I love her so much. Oh. But she was talking about this, or people talking about specifically this cover of a single, or like just preemptively of her album in August or something. And I just find it kind of funny that people are saying that now and having a problem. Like, that's not really. that's like nothing compared with other things that she's said and done on stage, in photos, whatever. So it's so weird that people are talking about that. I I used to be very European and very okay with sexuality, and yeah, like I wasn't very comfortable, like I wasn't sleeping around kind of okay, but like I was comfortable with dressing sexy and like being provocative or whatever to a certain extent. Like I wasn't quite to this, but maybe I can see myself doing a photo shoot like this if I was, famous, and at that time, at those ages, like she's 20 something. I wouldn't be saying what she says on stage and stuff like that. And I wouldn't be having those experiences just because I didn't believe in that. I didn't, yeah, I didn't believe that. I didn't really, I don't know. But yeah, now I'm aware that I'm very closed off to that world and that kind of stuff. And, it's just tackling that nervous system situation. But yeah, I guess I'm more surprised that people are surprised now when it's like it's not nothing different. Um yeah. I don't know. I I don't know. I don't know. I don't really like this. I don't really like the idea of like preteens seeing this as an option even of how to be. Um Yeah, but it is what it is. I don't know. And I don't know. I don't know. If I ever get to have a child, I'll figure out how to navigate that because I think it's very difficult to navigate these things now with internet and everyone having access, and it's really hard not to give access to kids or for them to have access, like if they go to their friend's house or something. Like it's a lot. So yeah, so you can't really like shield them. And also I don't really believe in censorship that much, again coming from Europe, from Romania specifically. So yeah, because that kind of develops like a desire for what you're not allowed, and like not even a healthy desire but like an unhealthy desire. So yeah, so I don't know, but it makes me uncomfortable that she is out there doing this. But I mean, every generation has had someone who was this provocative and embraced this side, and because there are those people who this appeals to and this call like resonates with and stuff, and they need that, even in a healthy way. So yeah, that's my take on Sabrina Carpenter, not that anyone cared. Because I don't think I ever talk about music. um I seriously, so this is how bad, this is how bad, mm, I I do what I do. How bad it gets as far as my research and why I'm all over the place. These are the videos that I've been watching. Making a, of course, making a raised garden bed from a plastic tote. And oh my gosh, just starting to hate YouTube. Just capitalism. Anyways, so what happened to Russell Brand? Speaking of that, he was always like the anti-capitalism. So yeah, this is what I've been watching, and I just wanted to share for a second because I really love this. Who also knew that chamomile? This is chamomile. It looks like dill. I thought that was like cool. I don't know. I love these. I watch these all day long. These sort of like DIY. I want to build a fence now. I'm afraid of wood, but I really want to build a fence. I want to build like a greenhouse. Um, I'm trying to like unweed the side of the house and maybe level it out. And just put like a rock border or like right up to the side. And then make a little like makeshift patio to like sit with my vegetable plants, just me and them, because I've been doing that. I just want to watch them. I just want to hang out with them. This is so weird. This is so weird. Growing up, I did always want a farm. I don't know why. Maybe because I love animals and I love, but it was like not so much the animals, like, oh, I just want to have animals. I wanted to have a farm. I wanted um to like live off of my own stuff, like own like have my own ecosystem for some reason. I don't know why. And I'm talking about like 5 years old kind of visions. I wanted to be like a Taylor Swift mega pop star, biggest in the world. I didn't even think about biggest in the world, but just like connecting people, blah blah blah. And I wanted to have a farm, and those two were not the same person, but they were in me equally. And so it's not that crazy that I'm so like excited about making a garden and stuff, but it is kind of funny because I come from like a city, like a major city, the capital, and back when I was born and when I was little, like that wasn't really a common thing. Like now in the US, especially, everyone has their micro farms on their balconies, and if they have like a house, they do their, the not farms, but gardens. They do their little gardening and stuff, and it's a trend, but like when I was growing up, it wasn't. So, but yeah, I just love the idea of like being fully an ecosystem and, like taking care of these animals and plants. And in my mind also, it wasn't contradicting with being a mega music star either, and it still isn't. um and now we get to see that it's not, although I don't see many celebrities doing these kind of videos. But yeah, I have a greenhouse in my land. Well, my girlfriend does. Everything is more delicious than supermarkets. Yeah, it is. I'm curious just how much. I have 3 different tomato plants, and I'm very curious how they taste. We get Roma tomatoes from Costco, and they taste very close to tomatoes that we remember in Romania. Um, and I have a Roma tomato plant, so I'm curious. I will like taste test, blind taste test to my family, like okay, which one's which, because I'm really curious. But I remember the taste, and I remember how it felt like to eat like a tomato from a friend's garden in Romania, and I don't know, it was just so good. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I have a small one in my little acre of land. Um, Vegetables are more delicious, or all spices you can grow. Yeah, I just planted my dill and basil outside, and I'm hoping they'll make it. I never had that. I never had those, and the basil was thriving inside the house, but I kept forgetting to water it, and it was kind of impossible to water because the next day or by the end of the day it would be like so dry, and then it would like wilt and turn yellow, and I'm like no. And but then if I poured more water, like it just was draining out, and it was just a mess. So um it's so weird. That was the only one that did that, and I think maybe it had too many weeds, not weeds, too many roots. So we'll see. But yeah, it's I also like them, like my idea is like I want them to have a better life than being in a pot inside. Like I also got figs, and I'm torn because I don't want them to die. I don't, like, one is a Chicago something, so it's like, okay, it's good for this region. But then another one is like a region below, and it's like an iffy one, and that one also is like the biggest one and the one that seems to be flourishing more. So I think I'll just get a bigger pot, and yeah, my family does not want that. But yeah, and that way also when I move out, I can just take my fig with me because oh my gosh, do I talk about figs enough? I will not talk about figs enough when it comes to fig season at Trader Joe's. And I know I'm like rubbing salt in wounds because I think Maria, you're saying that you don't have a Trader Joe's nearby, but oh my gosh, figs are I love figs. You give them good soil and love and they will grow. Yeah. You know, I haven't really talked to these plants. I've tried that before. I think some have struggled to stay alive before because I was so nice to them. But whether like the lighting wasn't great or the watering or nutrients or something, like just house plants, not like these. But yeah, I'm gonna talk to them tomorrow. I'm gonna let them know how much I love them. But I love just like literally, like it literally feels like I'm hanging out with my plants, and it sounds next level cat lady. It's like a whole different level because I can't even like like it's just just there. Yeah. So yeah. Um, but kind of like Pocahontas, like I always believed in that kind of spirituality, and so I'm hoping that by developing this relationship that is probably just in my mind with these vegetable plants, then like they'll know that it's like that they're part of the ecosystem. I eat them, I replant what I don't eat, I take care of them. Like it's, I don't know, one of those things. Um, yeah, I've seen such a cool one recently. Nice dill is delicious in soups. Yeah, I used to hate dill. I also wonder if I just didn't like the dill that that was in Romania because watching these stories, sorry, I'm like this got long story with this monitor, but basically I now have this big monitor and oh, by the way guys, I got to 215 subscribers over the weekend. It went down one and then Saturday I think I looked again and it went back up. Um but that's not where I wanted to go either. I just want to go to YouTube. um oh yeah, yeah. That there are different varieties of dill. Oh, we will almost make I'm like such a mess between coughing and this stuff and blah blah blah. And all over the place with those things. Okay. Let me show you the greenhouse I just saw cuz why not? And this guy has like cool. Does he have music? I don't know. No. He has those like ASMR videos. This is making me dizzy right now. I mean, it's like state of the art greenhouse, little mini greenhouse. I guess it's not a portable one, but yeah, so cool. I think I'm laughing because my mom will just roll her eyes at this. But I think it's really cool. I would love to have my own house. And maybe even though I don't have the money and I don't see that in my very near future enough. But I would love to have a house, like a small house, and like landscape it and build a little garden however I want, and like build, like I said, a fence. And I don't know. That's like one thing that I feel like me and my ex would have enjoyed doing, because he always wanted to do like woodworking thing, which I think is such a guy thing for some reason. My grandfather loves that and had his little wood thing in the attic in Romania. And then my friend's husband also, and oh, my childhood friend also. Excuse me, all these guys that are just like, I want to build stuff out of wood. And they build totally different things too. Like my childhood friend builds like tables and things, and like dining tables. And my friend's husband, like, I don't know, playhouses or something. I don't know. Anyways, um, but yeah, like we could have teamed up on the woodworking. He could have done the woodworking really, because like I said, I'm afraid of wood. Like me and like I was in Home Depot and I was literally like this. Just I'm afraid of inhaling all of that stuff. So yeah. But it looks really cool. I'll like do nails and things and put things together, assemble stuff, but just like no cutting and maybe other things. I don't know, whatever. Before we get into Iran and Israel, I also wanted to share, first of all, because I got nauseous earlier from this motion. I just recently found out. So over the weekend, my friend had a birthday party or birthday celebration. We were just going from like bars and restaurants to bars and restaurants, and or breweries technically. And so the first was just a restaurant, ate, had water. The second I had, which was like maybe an hour later, had beer. And I was like instantly nauseous. Like instantly. I was like, what the heck is this? Never happened before. It wasn't like, oh, I'm dizzy. Ooh, like I'm what's not ditzy? What's the when you're like not drunk but kind of whatever. It wasn't like that. I wasn't drunk. It wasn't like the alcohol wasn't hitting me. I was just like nauseous. And it was just so weird. Like in my head kind of nausea. And and so yeah, or maybe not in my head, but yeah, nausea. And anyways, I finished that. Eventually I was better. I also eventually got dizzy. What is that word? Tipsy. Eventually, I got probably a little tipsy, not much, but a little bit. And I was more sleepy. I was so sleepy. Thank you, Maria. Yeah. Um, and then we went to another place, and I had this like martini drink. Totally fine. Totally okay. Um, and then I had, and it was with food, but it wasn't like, that wasn't the issue. And then I had nothing. I had water because that got to me a little bit. I had water, and then I don't know, a few hours later, I had another beer, and I was like instantly nauseous again. And I mean, really nauseous. Like I was like breathing in and breathing out, to like suppress it. And I was like, what the heck? So I went on ChatGPT yesterday. I was like, what could be happening? And it would give me like things that I knew that it weren't it, like the alcohol, being more susceptible to the alcohol because you're sick or because of allergies or whatever. Because also I was like, I don't even know if I'm sick. I don't know what's going on. It just like came out of nowhere on Friday, I think. And I went to do Zumba, and that's why I'm glad that I kind of did Thursday, because Friday night I probably wouldn't have been great for anything. And I finally got like 9, not even 9, 8 hours of sleep, for the first time in a while on Friday night. So um yeah, but I went to Zumba and my like muscles were like I would move for a few seconds and they were instantly fatigued and I was like what the heck is happening? And then congestion started and I was like okay. So I apparently when you have especially um sinus stuff happening with drinks, with beer specifically, especially because it has yeast, it can well it's maybe one or the other, but one it can like affect your gut because your gut apparently this is why I'm sharing the story. Apparently like your gut is different when you're sick, and so you're more susceptible to alcohol or to certain other things because it's probably working for you to stay alive. So it's like you're just giving it toxins that it's like, really, Arena? This is not what we need right now. But also with like that, is it the vertebular whatever system, like the one that you can have vertigo because of your inner ear, that kind of system. It can like already kind of be off because you're congested, and then when you ingest alcohol, especially I guess yeasty or whatever, it just kind of does its thing and it makes you dizzy. So there you go. If you have a sinus infection, maybe stay away from beer. Or if you want to be nauseous, don't stay away from beer. Because again, like it wasn't that it was giving me that like tipsy feeling. I was just getting straight to the nausea without any tipsiness. So it was weird. And then eventually, I mean, yes, tipsy came, but yeah, yeah, it was very strange. So that was part of my little. I made a personal section, not session. Yeah. Oh, and then today I did couch to 5K, and I can't walk. We'll see tomorrow how it is. All right. I will go to Israel and Iran, and then I'm gonna end on a better note on the emotionally exhausted woman, which sounds awful, but it's actually really cool, and it sparked an idea of like having kind of a reading group or something, like a co-ed reading group, because I'm this is needed for men and I'm sure it's out there, and what's also needed is for both genders to like hear each other out. Because I was reading all of this, I'm like, man, I wish guys knew about this. I wish guys would like actually understand, instead of like, oh, she's crazy, oh, it's drama, oh, you're not trying hard enough, oh, this and that, oh, why don't you just like sleep, why can't you just sleep? Just go to sleep. Just go to sleep. I mean, all in fairness, women can also not have anxiety and can have like, more selfishness and stuff. But yeah, anyways, I'll talk about that later. But let's start with this piece of news that is not Iran and Israel, because leading up to that one's a heavy one. Oh boy. But this is apparently women working night shifts are 50% more prone to developing severe asthma. I feel like this is the most random thing that I would have never, ever guessed would be possible, because it's like it's not two things that you think go together. Women who work night shifts are more likely to suffer with moderate or severe asthma compared to women who work in the daytime, according to a study published by or ERJ Open Research, some journal. Women who only work night shifts are around 58% more likely to suffer with this. In post-menopausal women not taking hormone replacement therapy, the risk of moderate or severe asthma was almost doubled for night workers compared. What? Isn't that crazy? That's like just the human body. We think we are in so much control, and then the human body and biology and just life is like, nope, you're not. You don't even know anything. It just comes up with this stuff. Um, wow, that's like that's so interesting. But I wonder now, I wonder if they did a study that sees if it's just like especially about the postmenopausal women not taking hormone replacement therapy. I wonder if that applies to women who don't work at night too, because that's like an interesting connection. Um, the Colleen Daily, her Herald Herd. um, I don't know what that is, so I don't know. We'll click on it. Um, it's ads. That's what it is. 2,000. See, this is a study. 270,000 women. How much was that? 1,200 people. The one research that was quoted in the one amicus brief found that women who work overnight were more likely to suffer from moderate or severe asthma compared to women who work in the daytime, but there was no link between asthma and working night shifts in men, according to the findings published in the journal ERG Open Research. Um, that's so. And then with the postmenopausal thing, so it's like a hormonal thing. Like, who would have even thought that hormones play a role in an asthma? Women generally have more severe asthma and a higher rate of hospitalization and death from asthma compared to men in general. In our previous research, we found a higher risk of moderate or severe asthma in night shift workers, so we wanted to see whether there were further differences between the sexes. The research team looked at data from 274,541 British working people. I don't know if that all of these are kind of British, and found that 5.3 of them had asthma and 1.9 suffering from moderate or severe asthma, meaning they were taking an asthma preventer inhaler and at least one asthma treatment, such as an oral steroid. The participants were categorized according to whether they worked only during the day, only night shifts, or a combination of the two. The analysis revealed that overall, women were more who work shifts were more likely to have asthma. Women who work night shifts are around 50% more likely to suffer from moderate or severe. But the risk of asthma in men did not alter according to whether they work days or nights. Okay, you just repeated literally, you just wasted our time. You just repeated the same thing. Um, this type of research cannot explain why. However, it can be because shift work disrupts the body clock, including the levels of male and female sex hormones. High testosterone has previously been shown to be protective against asthma. That's news to me. And so, lower testosterone in women could play a role. Alternatively, men and women work different types of shift jobs, and this could be a factor. This study also found, yeah, I'm curious like what women night shifts were versus the men night shifts. Like if they had the same ones, like everyone that's working at factory of this kind, or like, we see here like a vendor or something. The study also found that in postmenopausal women, the risk of moderate or severe asthma was almost doubled in night workers compared to day workers. In those not taking hormone replacement therapy, this isn't the best article written wise, but European Respiratory Society, so it's probably European Respiratory Journal. That was the journal. Um, We know that women are more likely to have asthma, to have worse asthma, and are more likely to die from asthma, but we do not truly understand why. It's so cool when you like see research, just random things that you learn, Sorry. Um yeah. Um all right. Well, we've waited I guess long enough. This happened over the weekend. Boy. I said to my friend, at this point, I feel like we're pretty much in a World War III, except we don't know it yet. Because I don't know, but I feel like it's not always like things don't start in a second. Things start over time and they just build and build. And then maybe something big happens, at one point, but it builds. It's a build. And it's just more and more wars and conflicts and attacks and power, trying to overpower each other and all this stuff. So, and this is where I got that. Um, yeah, then these are like the following ones. So this is the latest, at least like earlier today. On June 16, 2025, Israeli military aircraft stuck, and this is not the first thing. The first thing was it here? No. No. I don't know. The first thing was on Friday, I believe. Israel decided, it was a story that was confusing, but I think I finally cracked it. It popped up on my phone, and I think it was saying that the US wasn't protecting Iran for a minute. And so Israel's like, now's the time. And they bombed Iran. And they said they were bombing for the nuclear, development, to stop them from developing that. But there was also some kind of uh people were saying like, but does this look like that kind of building? Because it didn't. It looked um like more residential building, etc. Anyways, so of course, what do these people do? Retaliate. I mean, not Iranians. I mean, like, all of these freaking people all over the world that just are like just using other people's bodies basically for their own power struggles. They retaliated, and so I think it was this. No, it was like during the weekend. I think something else. I don't know. Anyways, Iran fired back, and I think it's over here that said, no, it's over somewhere. Gosh darn it. Somewhere it was talking about how like casualties from Israel were like barely any. And then, oh, here. Um at least 8 Israelis were killed and over 100 injured by missile strikes on Monday. Um, while Iranian sources reported 224 killed and over 1,000 wounded in the Israeli assault. So obviously, death toll and injury toll were larger on the Iranian side. And that was also because they did two. They did the first one, and then they did this TV station. I mean, not just the TV station, but like, Iran retaliated. So what will Israel do? Of course, they're not going to go for like, hey, hold up, no, no, they're going to strike back and retaliate. And it was like the most classic of eye for an eye, and it's not going to get you anywhere. And literally also made me think, and part of it was because of this Mission Impossible movie, because I was watching, all the flags and uh, all the flags and all the countries that have nuclear power, or yeah, weapons, and Israel was one of them. And for some reason, I didn't know. I don't know so much. And I keep saying this, and I'm like, oh, I'll learn, and then it's just like ADHD, like, oh, let me learn about this, and I forget the initial. Also, this tea is so cold now because it's freezing down here. Um, and so it made me think, okay, so you are trying to disable Iran from having nuclear power, but the issue, regardless of how you feel about that, the ultimate issue is that if they don't have it, you have it, and you control everyone else. But if you both have it, then it's mutually insured destruction that keeps you from not using it, or like increases those chances of neither of you using it. So, yeah, this is like why it's so thank you. Yeah, I will do that. Hot steam. And yes, Arnaldo, this is insane. Um, and this, I mean, how and when will it stop? You know, and then even Trump is like, hold up, people. There's this one here. Come back. Trump vetoed Israeli plan to kill Iran's supreme leader. On June 15th, it was revealed that President Donald Trump declined an Israeli proposal to eliminate Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. I did not pronounce that. I'm so sorry. I did not pronounce that right. I know. The plan emerged amid escalating Israel Iran conflict following Israeli airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites. Oh, and what I'm sure Israelis like, well, you know, we have to define ourselves. Well, you started it, mister. Trump warned Iran not to retaliate against U.S. targets and predicted Israel and Iran would soon reach a peace deal to end hostilities. I mean, he's predicted that about Ukraine and Russia. I'm thinking and not realizing what the issue is. It's almost like he thinks these are like his kids or something. It's like, oh, you know, just settle down, guys. Just settle down. Just whatever. FBI Director Christopher Wray stated Iran conspired to target Americans on U.S. soil, and Netanyahu said Iran had marked Trump as enemy number one. Isn't that convenient, though? Isn't that convenient? I'm not saying that's not true, but I'm not saying that it is true because it just sounds very convenient. Just too convenient. And also, I don't think that Iran has an issue with Trump ultimately because he's destroying the US. So it's not like he's like their enemy. Trump's veto of the assassination plan. Mm. Oh, where is that? I need to put this. Trump's veto of the assassination plan signals a U.S. effort to prevent wider conflict while pushing diplomacy amid rising regional tensions. Well, and I also thought like, well, I feel like I'm glad that he knows a certain limit because if my understanding with even Russia and Ukraine, if U.S. gets involved, it is World War III, like technically involved, but they're involved but not really and all that stuff. So yeah, because then Iran is like, oh, you're going to do that, we're going to do this, and it's just like it will just never end. I mean, already I feel like it will never end. Hold on, sorry, this will be, I don't know, not pretty maybe. I'm just gonna use a little nasal spray because I'm like, hold on. It's not perfect, and it's annoying. It's like, but it's a little better, hopefully. Okay. So then, and there's I'll read that. There's a video in, which one was it? I think it was this VRT. Yeah, it's Belgium, and this is like the on air thing, um, broadcast, blah blah, and then like it happens on air as she's reporting about this. I don't know. It is very strange to see this. I'm not gonna say that it's not strange that this just feels like taken back a lot of centuries, but yeah. So also the way that they have the video reminds me of Romania, back in like the 80s. That's how, or 90s. That's how like the video was. So they did that. Israel did that. On June 16th, the Israeli military aircraft struck over 100 targets in Tehran, I don't know, including nuclear command centers and weapons factories, escalating the conflict between Israel and Iran. This assault followed Iranian ballistic missile attacks on Israeli cities, except Israel, you started it, so you should have just zipped up. I mean, not really, but like such as Bnei Brak or whatever, and Petah Tikva. This sounds like Star Trek right here, which caused casualties and heavy property damage, triggering intensified Israeli retaliation. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz warned Tehran would pay the price and soon, while Israel Defense Forces claimed paid. I'm sorry, like I know it's not like, oh well, you asked for it and good for them for attacking you back, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like at the same time, it is that. It is like, what are you how are you spinning this? Like, oh well, you're going to pay the price for attacking us back as we attacked you. Like, um, at least 8 Israelis were killed and over. Oh, I read that. And then probably get gas. I forgot to get gas over the weekend. I didn't need to when I came back on Saturday, so I need to do that. But um prices might rise basically. Oil, excuse me, raising oil prices by over 11% because of the conflict in the area and causing global market unease, while political calls for unity and intensified military engagement suggest a protracted confrontation. So, yeah. And then Israel Iran clashes escalate. Civilians urged to evacuate target areas, except, like, who? I just want to know who. Oh, Russia's on here because, they can't stay away. But who knows? They can target any area. They might like target like kind of like, oh, we know we usually do these areas or whatever, but like my way of telling this story, this is just so like, I don't know. Talk about casual. Israel and Iran have intensified their conflict, leading to casualties. The Iranian health ministry reported that the ongoing strikes have led to 224. Okay. Primarily affecting women and children again. U.S. But somehow they're just supposed to target like these bad guys, but somehow other people get affected more. U.S. officials reported that the U.S. intervened by shooting down Iranian missiles aimed at Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin, which is like sci-fi crazy to me. Like I've been under such a rock. Anyways, this guy threatened severe repercussions for Iran, indicating that regime change could be a potential outcome of the military attacks. Isn't that convenient too? So you're telling me now that Israel wants Iran, wants Gaza, just wants to just take over the Middle East when they're not even really kind of supposed to be there? Or apparently, like these specific Jewish people, I still have to like learn all that stuff because like Jewish people even don't want these people to be in Israel that are in Israel and doing this conflict. So, and they call them like, what the remember I showed you guys the Orthodox Jews saying like this is not their country. They're calling them settlers, is it? And I forget. Um yeah, Trump doesn't need help. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you meant like doesn't need help good, but initially I read that as Trump doesn't help. Um Both are equally funny to me. Um yeah, he yeah, definitely doesn't need any help, or the other way around. Like he's not hindering anyone. Anyone that hates the US, he's not really hindering them. I mean, this is like the crazy part is just like how weak America already has gotten to the world, like so vulnerable to a lot. Anyways, but yeah, so let's I'm curious. This is Moscow times. Um a strategic partnership, not a military alliance, Russia's role in the Israel-Iran conflict. The Israel-Iran conflict showed no signs of easing as it dragged into its fourth day on Monday, with the two countries trading strikes that have done that. And Russian Foreign Ministry has advised its citizens to evacuate. I'm not gonna click on it, but that doesn't sound like it's involved. It just sounds like, hey guys, like get out of there because they're fighting. But I think isn't Russia and Iran kind of a little tight? Or was that Israel and Russia? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, fun times. Oh gosh, I've been giving up on preventing wrinkles. Apparently, like I don't have much to worry about if Blake Lively and now like Taylor Swift, they're like younger than me and they have more wrinkles. I'm like, let my wrinkles loose. Uh, so yeah, so that's fun. Um, Iran wants to reopen nuclear negotiations. Oh, that's what I was saying though. So this is not for the safety of the world. I get that some people might say that as far as like what you believe about Iran and what might be true about Iran, but I don't think that that's the whole point of if everyone has this like crazy missile like in Mission Impossible, if you know everyone launches and oh gosh, what was that oh my gosh, I can't believe I need to tell my friend. um he doesn't he We were talking about movies, but uh Paradise. Oh my gosh, I was like P something. He doesn't. I don't know that he watches TV shows, but he needs to watch that TV show. I'm curious, but we don't look at movies and things the same for the same reasons. I look at the story and like how it moves you. Does it make sense? Is it with a message? Is it whatever? And he's like, yeah, the lighting was great and the cinematography and the sound and this and that. I'm like, I guess maybe. But anyways, so yeah, Paradise also kind of had that. Um yeah, if everyone kind of launches their missiles, and if someone launches their missile, be sure that someone else will launch missile onto them. And so one, as far as like alliances, and two, like you might launch towards the US, but it's not like instant, and the US has other places that can launch against you. So it's like that. So I don't understand at the same time why you just wouldn't let them have that, because I don't even understand why we're developing them at all. I feel like they should just all go away, all the nuclear weapons. I don't feel like that's useful, needed, but that's me, where I'm like, we don't need war. Literally, we don't need it. There's nothing about it that we need. People say like, oh, economic reasons, blah blah blah, and power and control and whatever. But that's not something we need. That's just like a human reason that we choose to have. So, yeah, that's kind of, yeah, that that lovely story. Um, but yeah, it made me think like, yeah, it's getting worse and worse, and I think the worst part is that it's not just getting worse and worse, but it's kind of like with weird to compare it, but to the Blake Lively and real victims conflict, that my perception of it, or like my tidbit of the conflict between those two, is that They don't have a voice. The real victims don't have a voice. And I feel like that's happening on a global scale. Goodness doesn't have a voice. Everything's about war and fighting and hatred and control. Not even hatred, really. I think it's just all at the end of it, control. I think on the bottom level of like everyday people, it's about hatred and like that comes out and racism and isms and all that stuff. But I think the top, the decision maker part, that's all about just greed and control and filling that hole and void in your heart that you didn't get growing up as a child. And so, where does it end? It doesn't. Or like maybe it ends really badly. Even at the party, someone said this, and then a few of us, well, three of us, started talking about this stuff of how like we might not even have an America in like a few years. We might not even have this planet in a few years. It might turn into paradise situation where everything's like bam, gone. Or what Mission Impossible stopped, you know, the annihilation of humankind to some degree, except maybe for a few that know it's coming and go into a bunker and blah, 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 blah. But even that, we don't know that those people will survive to repopulate the planet because, you know, they have to survive long enough for the nuclear situation on the surface to go away. And so um, it's also interesting because now we have all these shows and based on um, games. If anyone is a gamer and knows Death Stranding 2 is coming out. I saw that at the movie theater and I was like so excited. And there were like things flashing and I was like, I recognize these characters and the feel of it. I just couldn't put my finger on it until it said Death Stranding 2. If you don't know it and you're a gamer, you should definitely check it out. And if you don't know it and you're not a gamer, still check out like YouTube videos because it's kind of like a movie. It's really really cool and they have I watched this video that shows the whole story from front to end and it was like whoa and that happens and that happens and it was just like really cool. My ex played it and he introduced me and but the way that he like explained it was so different in my head. I think I was just too simplistic, thinking too simplistically because I was expecting like, you know, regular video game. But this guy who designed this game was just next level. Is so awesome. But yeah, so but Fallout and we're talking about The Last of Us because there's this guy, Diego Luna, who I just think of him from I think Y Tu Mama Tambien. I think that's where he played first, or that's where I know him from. I think it's the same person. Sorry if it's not, but he is married to a Romanian. So I was telling my family that, and I guess like that is also post maybe nuclear apocalyptic thing, maybe not. No, it was like zombies and spores. I don't know, but whatever. But it's interesting that with what is happening in the world, we have a rise in those kind of shows before it really even was happening. Um, hmm, hmm, doesn't look good if the universe is trying to tell us something. But yeah, like it's just like why, and the not trauma but the agony of not having a voice, all these protesters in the streets. Yes, it feels good to see it and the numbers are growing because other people see it and like, oh, I feel that way too, you feel that way too, okay, and then you have more of a community in a way. But every day I feel like you feel isolated because those around you either don't talk about it, you don't dare talk about it at work or family or whatever, they don't have the same feelings. Oftentimes I hear what I would imagine too, And I even got that from my family too. It's like, oh, it's not gonna be that bad. I mean, my stepfather was freaking out about certain things, but then he's like, oh, I realize it won't be that bad. And it's like, someone was saying something about normalization is like the next step. You know, you create chaos, you create this like craziness, and then people protest whatever, and then it just becomes normal. It becomes normal to protest and it not go anywhere. It becomes normal to this and that. And I think it was maybe over the weekend as well that, or maybe with my family, I don't know who said this, but how, like, if the right people protest, things get done, resolved. And I'm like, well, but that's the point, because that means that it's not really a protest, you know? Because now Trump was like, oh, well, farmers, I've had workers for like 20 years that were undocumented, and they're great people, and they're like hardworking and this, and if we take them away, the farmers will be in trouble, so we can't do that. So it's like, backing up on that. Um, and yeah, so, but it's like, it's just, it shouldn't be that way because everyone should have a voice. And yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of sad that it's not heard. That the Israeli people in the country are not heard even. Iranians, I don't think Iranians, Israelis, Russians, Ukrainians, I don't think anyone like you and me kind of people, everyday life kind of people, maybe they are like, oh yeah, we hate them or whatever to the other side. But one, that's mainly propaganda. They're made to feel that way. But let's say, regardless, they do. Still, I don't think anyone wants to like die. And again, it's so sad because all those people will, not all, but like, but the people that make the decisions don't. And it's not fair. What happened to back in the day where the captain, the leader of whatever, military, whatever, was up front? It's completely reversed. And it's so comfortable to like push a button and tell people to tell people to tell people that people should go and fight for them. You don't even feel it, you don't see it, you don't hear it. It's just there. The casualties are just numbers. They're not people. It's so convenient. It's so, yeah. Um I don't know. I don't know where we're heading. And I saw it's Keisha actually also spoke about how so many content creators don't even mention anything of this and how they should. It's a responsibility because it's happening. And I also sympathize or empathize, not sympathize, well, maybe both, but empathize with the people who don't, because even for me, like, it's scary to talk about it because you're putting yourself online. It's not even like governments that can go after you, but like people can go after you. We have already, in general, people that are trolling and are stalkers and are like threatening and all that stuff. And it can be about this too. And so I don't blame any content creator for not talking about it, but I guess like at least mention that it's happening, like, hey guys, take a look at this, go find your own answer or whatever, but at least like making people aware, like, hey, stuff is happening, go check it out. I'm not going to take any side. I don't want to do, like, what I would hope content creators would do if they feel uncomfortable talking about it. um yeah, and for me, like, I feel like this was pretty neutral. I'm not for Israel, I'm not for Iran. I'm not against either of them, and I'm not for either of them. It's just, whoa, people, slow down. This is not great. This is not helping anyone. Um, Ultimately, not even the leaders who will have no one to lead. Like, it's just, why are we doing this? And the final piece, the emotionally exhausted woman. So I was watching Caroline Winkler and a while ago, And I, over the weekend, I needed to go watch her video again that had this tool. And it's only on my phone, so let me pull it up. It's this one over here. Probably can't see it because I also put my nighttime. Come on, focus. Focus. All right. So it's at the bottom there. Okay, you can't see it. Anyways, it's called Clarity. It's Clarity some CBT app. Anyways, it's kind of like a journal AI situation. I don't have I don't even know. Okay. I don't even know if I can have like an affiliate link, but I just got like whoosh whoosh in my head. But it has like check-ins of how you feel, and it goes into this AI guided based on how you feel, or just a guide to like check in with how you're what you're thinking and whatever. And you can even have just a chat or journal where it just like you have a question like, I don't know what to do about this. I don't know how to feel better. I don't know how to respond to this email or this text, or how like I'm in conflict with my partner and like I don't know what to do. I don't want World War III with them, but I am so triggered and I I'm so angry or whatever, or afraid. And so it can like walk you through prompts that tell that like make you like, well, how do you feel, what emotions come up for you, or and if you're like, I don't know, help me, it's like, okay, it gives you like a little help and stuff. So why did I start? Oh, yeah. So I was looking because I couldn't remember the name of that and I didn't have it on my phone again, and I really needed it on Sunday. And then I watched a little bit more, or I read her description thinking that she had it in her description and didn't. And I want to read the books that she suggested, and this was one of them. And at first I was like, this would be probably the least likely that I will want. But the library had this, I think, more available or something. I don't know. I started reading it and I was like, whoa, this is like better than I thought. Mental health app. Yeah, it's a mental health app. I don't know if that was your question exactly, Maria. Um, I wish I could. I can't. I don't know. I'll include it in the. If I find an affiliate link, I'll mention it on the community tab, and let me also, for anyone. In the meantime, here's this. This is like the app, and it just tells you improve your mental health and it's not just for like anxiety or whatever. At first, like, it asks you like, what do you want to work on, like be more productive or sleep better or whatever. It's one of those things. But I will say that this is a pretty good one. I'm surprised, and it is paid. You have like 1 week to try it, and then it's like $39 or something per year, so it's not bad. But yeah, it's like actually really good. Anyways, so on to this, the emotionally exhausted woman, because I was like, hashtag me. That's exactly how I feel. I'm emotionally exhausted. And I keep getting, I don't keep getting, but there's definitely a message like, it's all on you. Like, do breathing, do meditation, do yoga, work out, go Zumba, go strength training, sleep more, eat better. It's all on you, it's all on you, it's all on you. And then I think this is the missing piece of why it feels like, don't tell me that, because I just can't do anything of that and with that. Like, it might be, but it's also not. And you reach a certain level of like this stress and nervous system dysregulation where like you need help from the outside, because we're not meant to do it all alone. But this dismissive avoidance especially will tell you like you're meant to do it all alone, because that's what unfortunately, and like that's why my heart goes out to them and it breaks every time I think about this component. But that's how they learn that as children, that their caretakers just didn't have time for them, and it wasn't like malicious necessarily, but they were working all the time or whatever, or they just didn't learn how to properly like communicate feelings and needs and be there for needs and stuff. And it just was like, just like stop crying or whatever, especially for men. Which I don't know the statistics, but I believe that or it would make sense that men would be more dismissive avoidant than women, because of how we culturally, teach men to, be a big boy, don't cry, and um, don't have feelings, don't have needs, um, be tough for everyone else, be there for everyone else, especially for single moms that have boys. I imagine the responsibility that society makes them feel they have and all this stuff. Anyways, I digress. So, but that's kind of the idea. And also not just dismissive avoidant um attached people, but also just people that might not be that way, but they don't understand what you're going through because maybe they didn't get to that point. Because I feel like probably at one point everyone goes through everything, but I don't know, maybe not. Anyways, so there's like a few highlights that I was like, whoa, and I even posted it on my social media. So I'm gonna read these little tidbits. The cultural narrative goes like this: we are worthy, our needs are valid, and we have every right to express our truth. On a superficial level, the idea of authenticity is applauded in our society. And I remember thinking this, not even about needs and women and all that stuff, but I remember thinking about this, like thinking about jobs and career, how you're like, be yourself and blah, 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 and then don't. Like by family, by society, like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And then don't. Be realistic. Don't have dreams. Don't do anything. Anyways, be bold. Be who you are. Be you. We are encouraged to celebrate our uniqueness, voice our truth, and be us. That's what's happening on the surface, but at a deeper level, I just realized how nasal I am. Sorry for all the interruptions. I'm sorry also for the nasalness. I think it's getting worse over, the more I talk. That's what's happening on the surface, but at a deeper level, such a way of living sits contrary to everything else we've been taught to be. That was like actually the wrong italic. But, anyways, in reality, society's persistent dismissing and disparaging of women's needs. I mean, and again, this goes for men too. Like I just said, like men are strongly taught to not have needs, even more so. Um, but it's like this like weird thing where they can take up space more. So it's like really crazy. Like, what are we making of this? We're having all these wars, you know, killing people and stuff, and then we're not even fixed. Our own societies and our own selves and our own relationships. Like, what are we doing? Okay, anyways. In reality, society's persistent dismissing and disparaging of women's needs, making fun of and negatively labeling women who openly express needs, idealizing women who appear needless and self sacrificing, woo, for all the moms. I feel like that you know that very well. Has led us to create a relationship with our own needs that, like the one modeled, is critical and rejecting. Stop for a moment and think about your own life. Consider the ways that your truth has been dismissed by others and how you too may have participated in your own dismissal. I mean, she packs it all in here. Like this is a good introduction. Cuz yeah, and I was thinking about this over the weekend. Like, you know, for every time that I feel dismissed and I am dismissed, like when I was by my partner and stuff, I dismissed myself too. And maybe not for every single time, but it's there. And um I don't know, I'm so excited to read this book because I feel like it's so easy for people, especially my well-meaning ex at the time, like to say like have needs, take up space, blah blah blah, or to not understand the weight of this and how. I was talking about my friend with his girlfriend over the weekend about sleep deprivation and how like sleep deprivation is something that you don't notice and realize how much it's impairing you. Like when you have like 5 hours of sleep, you're like, oh, I'm functioning fine or whatever. You put some coffee in your system and you go. And then when you actually fix your sleep and you get those hours, coffee or no coffee, doesn't matter. It's like people are like, whoa, this is a whole different world. I'm a totally different person. What was I doing? And unlike when you're drinking and you know you're drunk and you know you're, impaired, with sleep deprivation, you don't. So it's kind of like that, where it's like this like transparent heaviness and burden that like, you tell people, men and women, and they're like, you're exaggerating or something. Anyways, despite all the progress we've made in the workforce, on the family and social front, the political stage, and everywhere else, so many women still believe that they're not supposed to have needs. Yep. I so sorry. The reason that I said what I said earlier and I interrupted myself, and I'm going to interrupt this too, is because I've done coaching. I've had therapy. I've studied psychology, not like fully, but a lot. I've studied attachment style theory, and that goes also with rewiring brain stuff. The coaching that I got certified in. I know the tools, I know the works of it, and I know like have needs, and I know that. And I even have talked about my ex who had said, take up space with me, Arena, and who had said, um, who like even in ways that I remember, where when I did have need or whatever, when I was like more bold or whatever, it wasn't that he turned away. It was actually that he like came even closer. But like it was the way that I was expressing that need. So that's why I felt so overwhelmed over the last few months, because I'm like, it's just so tangled. It's like, how do you untangle everything? And you need time and you don't have time, but everything's so tangled. And you might consciously know having needs is okay. Whoever you are, whatever gender you are, you might know that. You might even think you're meeting your needs or standing up for your needs and your boundaries and so forth. But you might find out that you're not. And that's like the really crazy part to me, and the part that I feel feels like this is like crazy talk to many people, because people are like, oh well, we know this by now, like, and that's what she started saying, like on the surface we know it and we talk about it, but in reality, in our subconscious, we don't do that. Um, Little ones, maybe, little needs, maybe, here and there, but not the real ones we actually have, and not the inconvenient ones. That hit. That hit like straight to my core, because that's exactly how I felt for a very long time, probably my whole life. Um, but I know that I have this where I don't want to be an inconvenience. I don't want to be a burden. Um, Yeah. Needs are still seen as a failing, and like most everything else, are failing. This book is designed to help you, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's a guide for creating an internal state of vitality and authenticity that doesn't rely on finding the right partner, self improvement plan, or facial cream. And I like that she talks about this, how, like, there's this industry of feel good sort of current self care industry promises. Um, sorry, what's to come is a radically different approach to self care, not the kind of temporary fix, feel good sort of current self care industry promises, the kind that ultimately fails you. And this is, I think, and I feel like she goes into a little bit more detail, but this is what brings to mind, like, go meditate, go work out, go do Zumba, go have a night to yourself, advocate for your needs, or, um, take certain supplements, or eat better, or buy that facial cream, and, or like, clothing, or this or that, or even to an extent, these self help books and even therapy or religion, anything that, like, are you really like digging in deep, or are you just using that as a crutch and as like a more instant fix, which therefore is also temporary. And there was another. Where is it? Um, yeah. Um, this reading journey is about awareness at its heart, finding your truths. You'll become aware of your training to care for and manage others' needs at the expense of your own, to disappear to yourself so as to appear attractive to others. Whew! Again, I don't know if this resonates with anyone else watching or listening, but this resonated with me so well, because that's exactly what I did with the relationship, and that's exactly what I'll do if I don't get it, if I don't work on this, if I don't understand it and fix it, to just be blunt, I will do with the next relationship. And that's why, like, I even was with my past relationship for so long, because I was aware, like, this is not about me and about him. It's about this pattern. It's about these wirings, these things that, need to be tuned. And it wasn't that we weren't compatible as like human beings, but we needed this tunement. Oh my gosh, this nose. I don't even know why I'm drinking that, just to help. um I'll just do it this way. um oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So to not be a burden, to um make myself smaller, which is, and I'm saying that specifically because it was something I always thought I would never do. And I think maybe that's why, also because I was doing it and maybe not even aware of it consciously most of the time, I knew that it was like something to fix, not, it was like just fundamental incompatibility or something, and yeah, sometimes when the more you know, the more like you struggle, because ignorance is bliss sometimes. And I do think that people who just like talk badly about partners and think badly about, like, oh, he was this, she was this, I would, they weren't good enough for me, blah, 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 and they don't have the nuances. I think they're happier. No, but anyways, but they probably will likely repeat the same pattern. So that's the other side of it, I guess. Anyways, so yeah, to disappear yourself as to appear attractive to others. So not just to take up space, but to also be safe. Because again, we're made to be social creatures. We need others. We are not standalone islands. Um, I throw open the door to the likability cage, the trap of always trying to be pleasing in order to be emotionally safe, not judged and not rejected. Just speaking right to my heart. This is, yeah, so true. Um, I will lead us through the perilous and painful minefields of judgment. Sorry, I'm reading like from place to place, and you're like, probably like, if you're trying to read along, where are we? But at the top, I will lead us through the perilous and painful minefield of judgments, criticisms, and labels that our culture imposes on women, and we impose on ourselves, from difficult to high maintenance to control freak, the whole arsenal of threats and that keep us silent and our needs in check. I thought that was such a like a smart phrase too, like keep our needs in check. Because if we don't need anything, then people don't have to step up to figure their stuff out too. I look at I look at early family environments, how your caretakers responded to your needs and how that shaped and distorted your own beliefs, as well as your strategies to for trying to get your needs met. So I'm like, that's exactly 100% my coaching style, or what I was my coaching certification. Sorry. Um, it's easy to talk about it, but living as a confident and truthful woman who also has needs is not easy. And then I was literally just about to say this. I'm like, I don't know that I skipped this or it's coming up. But here's the thing, you don't have to abandon the people you love to take care of yourself. You also don't have to abandon yourself to be safe and happy, or to take care of them. But I guess that's implied. um, from being whom you think everyone wants you to being who you actually are, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, anyways, that's all I wanted to read so far because that's pretty much close to as far as I got. But yeah, and because that's the pendulum swung to that other place, right? Of um, it's better to be alone than with the wrong person, and um, it's not that I don't have peace of mind or don't like peace of mind. It's just like I'm with the wrong people, or I forget what that trend was on Instagram. It probably still is, and I always thought like that you don't have it right, and certain people started calling that out. Like you're talking about the unhealthiest opposite side of the unhealthiest side that you're on. Like you're not talking about becoming healthier. You're just talking about avoiding discomfort and avoiding dealing with your stuff, avoiding interacting with people who haven't dealt with their stuff. And the idea is really working on ourselves. That's all we can do. And if we meet people that have stuff to still work with, it's not like just discarding them. Or like if you found yourself that you've been self-sacrificing for like years and years, it's not like, well, I need a divorce, or I need to abandon my family, to disown my family or whatever, or my friends or whatever. It's maybe eventually, like, but I think those cases are more rare than we like to think, because it's so hard to work on ourselves, especially since I've moved back in my family house, like especially when you're constantly around people that do not work on themselves, and they just keep, it's like you take a step forward, and then the person comes with something and you go back to square one, and so it's like inching like forward instead of like stepping forward. And yeah, but living and taking out people from your life is not helpful, as I can also attest to. Living by myself was not conducive to that either. It was better and stuff, but it had like its challenges, and it, again, the pendulum was too much on the other side. So, ideally, you have people around you that are willing to at least understand that you will be working on yourself, and to facilitate that, or like stay out of your way. And I don't mean like ignore you, but like at least like be aware to not make it worse for you. And I think if they ignore you, it's kind of the same thing as like isolating yourself. It's not going to help you in the long run, or short run, and your nervous system is going to be this more dysregulated, and it's going to be all bad altogether, and the work is still going to be not as fast. So hopefully there's you know ways that you can communicate, but hopefully people will understand that, hey, like, I just will try to be more mindful of what I bring. My family's not that. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but here we are. Anyways, I'm going to go do a lot more of this. uh just flush things out because I was, not trying to do too much. And bundle up because the air conditioning started again. It's so freezing cold. So cold. And my phone already set me to sleep mode. Thank you for stopping by tonight. Happy Monday. Happy whatever number week this is of the year. Is it the third week of June or second week of June? Third week of June, right? Wow. No, second week of June. No, third week of June. Sorry. Let's see what week of the year. We're on week 25. Out of 53 weeks or 52 weeks. 53 weeks. 52 weeks. 52 weeks. We are pretty much halfway through the year. Didn't sound as bad when I said 25, and then I realized, oh, out of 52, that's like pretty much half. So, yeah. Um, Thank you. I will. You too. Everyone get some rest. Stay stay safe. I don't know. I wanted to say that and then I'm like, that's weird to say. It's not really on brand, I guess. um and yeah. Check out Lauren. Send her some love because again, like I said, she really needs it. I feel so bad. Um just terrible people out there. But anyways, cool. I wish I could redirect you. I don't even know if she's still on. So, few more, couple more, 200, some more, 300, some more people until I can redirect. But have a wonderful night. Good night. This year is going fast, Arnaldo. Yes. Peace, love, and compassion. And I'll see you on Friday. Unless anything pops up, which might. Cool.